What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and we are starting to learn about so many of the problems that went down on the set of Rust, where Alec Baldwin tragically shot and killed a woman, Halyna Hutchins, as well as injured the director, Joel Souza. These problems consist of safety violations, of bringing live ammo on set to use as target practice between takes with the very gun that was used in the fatal shooting. It comes from inexperience. It comes from mismanagement and trying to cut corners to save some money. It is at the top from Alec Baldwin, who is the producer of this movie, down to the armorer, down to Alec Baldwin, the person that actually fired the gun, who didn't check it before he fired it. But one person that we are also starting to learn a lot more about, not only his role in this tragedy, but also about his past, where he has been fired for gun safety protocol violations, where other people have said they didn't feel safe when he was on the set with firearms. That person is the assistant director. Alec Baldwin Fatal Shooting Film's first AD was fired from 2019 movie over gun going off, Freedom's Path producer confirms. The fatal shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins by Alec Baldwin last week wasn't the first time first assistant director David Halls worked on a film where a weapon discharged unexpectedly. I said Halls that way because they spelled it Hills. They mean Halls. This is Deadline. Why do we consistently have these problems with these mainstream places? Like, this has been up for hours and they still haven't fixed it yet. Back in late 2019, a gun went off in the Arkansas set of Freedom's Path, where Halls was an AD. The incident caused a member of the Rock Soul Studios produced movie sound department to jump back from the close-by blast. First of all, our condolences go out to everyone affected by the recent tragic events in New Mexico, said one of the producers to Deadline. I can confirm that David Halls was fired from the set of Freedom's Path in 2019 after a crew member incurred a minor and temporary injury when a gun was unexpectedly discharged. Halls was removed from the set immediately after the prop gun, and that's how they said prop gun discharge. Production did not resume filming until Dave was off-site. An incident report was taken and filed at the time. Now, we have talked in so many of these videos about the way they use the term prop gun, and a lot of times the way that it's used and the way it's reported as prop gun is completely inaccurate. To be clear, the gun that Alec Baldwin shot and that he was holding when this happened is a functional gun. It's not some gun that isn't meant to shoot. No, it can be loaded with live ammo. That's what happened in this scenario. There was a live round in there when he shot that woman. But it can also be loaded with blanks. It doesn't really describe who knows how they're using prop gun in this. It also doesn't say whether it was blanks or not. Could have been maybe a blank went off by someone's ear. That could result in an injury, an unexpected discharge by their ear. Maybe. You never know. Things like that can happen. So we don't have all the details. But we do know that Dave Halls once again was involved with gun safety violations. And before we even move on in this article, this isn't the only report of this. Someone came out yesterday and spilled the beans about Dave Halls and his history of being unsafe. Assistant director who gave Baldwin the gun had prior safety issues, former crew member claims. And I don't even know if I've mentioned this yet in the video. Dave Halls was the last one to have hands on this gun before he handed it to Alec Baldwin. He picked it up from a cart where the armorer had laid it down and did not check it, at least did not check it properly, brought it on set, declared it a cold gun. A cold gun, which means it should be safe, and then handed it to Alec Baldwin. I think we all understand that Alec Baldwin as well is very much culpable of a lot of things in this, shoulders a lot of the blame. But so does a person that didn't do the proper check, that handed him a gun with live ammunition in it. He definitely deserves blame for this situation as well, and we're finding out so much about his history. The assistant director on the set of Rust, who told Alec Baldwin the prop gun he was about to fire was safe, they keep saying prop gun, it was a gun, ladies and gentlemen, has allowed an unsafe work environment on previous productions. Prop maker Maggie Gall worked with AD Dave Halls on 2019's Hulu Into the Dark series. She says at first he seemed like an older, affable first AD with the usual run of idiosyncrasies, but the facade soon disappeared. He did not maintain a safe working environment. Sets were almost always allowed to become increasingly claustrophobic, no established fire lanes, exits blocked, safety meetings were non-existent. She said in one case, he continued to let cameras roll in the middle of a medical emergency when something had happened to the pyrotechnician, and she says that created a dangerous situation. Perhaps the most alarming, she says Halls didn't hold safety meetings when a gun was used on the set. Halls is one of the people who gave Baldwin the prop gun and yelled "cold gun," meaning it had no live rounds. Apparently that was a fatal error. And also, in addition to that, we also have word from this same person, Maggie Gall, that he didn't announce when firearms were on set. And it was a problem that people brought to the attention of the production staff. He, multiple times, did not announce when a gun was being brought on set like he is required to. That has led, obviously, to a lot of problems with him in his career. The injured crew member was back on set in less than a week, a source told the production, or a source close to the production tells Deadline. A replacement AD and armor were hired almost immediately, and filming continued just before the end of 2019. Freedom's Path wrapped up post-production last year, but no release date is set for the film starring R.J. Kyler and Garen Howe. David Halls has not responded to requests from Deadline. The producers of the currently shuttered Rust also did not respond when contacted. The complaint on Pure, the 2019 complaint on Pure was lodged against the first AD for a lack of respect of face for fellow crew members and other co-workers, sources say. He was described as being very aggressive and intimidating on set. I honestly don't care too much about that. I think that that's a lot of Hollywood people. They're probably going to be aggressive when they're asking for things. The thing that concerns me is the safety. And as we have laid out time and time again, multiple safety violations. The armorer having live ammunition and blanks mixed up. Her also having no experience whatsoever. Another thing that's playing a factor in this is the COVID protocols. One of the reasons that the armorer was not the one to hand this gun to David Halls and that it was laying on a cart. Then he did not do the proper thing, and then he gave it to Alec Baldwin, who did not do the proper thing, and ultimately someone died. Alec Baldwin is responsible and culpable for more than just being the one to fire the fatal shot. Alec Baldwin, as well, is the producer on this film. According to people that I've talked to in the industry that are close to this, they say that this is Alec Baldwin's show. He's one of a couple producers, but he put some money up for this. This is kind of his project. He made all these determinations, including the poor working conditions, including hiring inexperienced people that didn't belong to be there, including hiring an AD who had been a problem when it came to firearms on sets before. Now, I think that a lot of this is getting put out there strategically. Some of it strategically, some of it just because we're curious. We want to know all the things that happened. We want to know all the things that led up to this. I do think some things are coming out to try to shift blame a little bit from Alec Baldwin. I'm not going to do that completely. There's plenty of blame to go around. Alec Baldwin is to blame for this, just as is the armor, just as is Dave Halls. But the fact you have so many people, between the inexperience, between the safety issues, what a fatal, literally fatal combination. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.